Peace, Internet. It's me, Vani. Welcome back to Lazy Vlogs. Alright, so I just uploaded another video alongside this. If you are here for military content, go right ahead and check out the other video. If you're here for Vani, for old Vani here, then hello. I miss you guys and welcome back to Lazy Vlogs. So today's video we are going to be touching on I guess we can talk about weed a little bit, but we're not necessarily going to be talking about that. More so just about my recent business of Peace Coast Apparel. I started and launched it, soft launch, and I made a couple of designs, but I definitely backed off of that, and I want to talk to you guys about why it is that I start projects and kind of just fall away from it, why I will go down a certain path like making weed content on the internet for a decade, I don't know, that very extremely long time, making a particular type of content or working at a particular type of job or having a particular direction in life, and why I have, shifted away. And we all grow and change over time, but the way that I make changes is not, I don't think, all the way healthy, not wholly healthy decisions made. And I can tell you at the age of 29, I'm very introspective and reflective. I think about the actions that I make. I think about the impacts of those actions that I make on my life over time, seeing the reality of the decisions that I've made and questioning, why did I do that? Some people may think it's just unnecessary to dive so deep into one's own psychology, but I think it is very important, especially for me with a very active brain. So some of you may off the bat be saying, well, if you have half-done projects and you're always shifting around, maybe you have ADHD. Which, maybe, I don't know. I don't know. I'm not a doctor. But what I can say is my perspective shifts based on conversations that I have with people, and sometimes those conversations that I have with people, it depends on my relationship with them. So, for example, I was making, and it's very funny because it's so finicky. I've had conversations with my mother, right? So she's an important person to me, and her perspective matters to me personally. So when I've talked to her about pursuing one thing or another thing, they would give their perspective, and then they would put on their own perspective onto me. So job wise, they say, oh, you should work for the state, it'll give you job stability, blah blah blah. And I would say, oh, I want to work and do this or that, whatever, and then they'll give their opinion. And it's funny because over the years, my mother's opinion has changed on certain things, and that has messed with me because I would literally bar and ignore things that I felt I wanted to be a part of because she was important to me and is, but she was an important figure in my life who gave a perspective, and then I took that to affect my decision, and maybe that means forgetting whatever I wanted to do or whatever it is. And that is damaging to me because though I thought I was looking to get guidance and help from somebody else, what I was really doing was taking whatever thoughts I was having, I was putting my life decisions into somebody else's hands, and then when I would either pursue what they were talking about or not, I would feel messed up internally because either their perspective completely went against what I wanted to do. For example, my mother, not a fan at all of me making weed stuff and smoking weed at all for a long time. And then, all I wanted to do was make weed videos and travel and do weed in different places and blah, 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 And it's funny because there was a point in time where I was having some success along that path of doing it. And she was not jumping for joy, but she would acquiesce. She would be like, okay, well, you're doing it, so, whatever. So it wasn't a wholesale, I don't know what you call it it wasn't an endorsement for me to go do it. It was more well, you're doing it, so whatever. And when I would have successes in making weed videos, I was definitely hey, like, forget what she said, I'm feeling good about my decisions that I'm making. But I would also be going through life and struggling with emotions or breakups or whatever, and then I would be on the internet and I'd be reaching out to my mom and friends. I feel like I'm having a hard time with life and my emotions. And Google and YouTube will say it's weed, and then other people who I know at like a job, they'll say, "Oh, weed doesn't really affect me like that. I'm fine." So going on WebMD and YouTube and trying to figure out is it weed that's affecting me? I don't know. But then I would go, because Google and YouTube are not the most important, more influential places for me to get information. But then I would ask my mom, I'm having emotional, struggles in life. I don't really know what's going on. I fear that it could be the weed. And then she'll say, you know what, that weed is definitely probably the problem that's going on in your head. It's messing with you. If you stay away from that, then your life can be better, blah, blah, blah. And I had that whole back and forth of their perspective on weed and my perspective on weed. And then, YouTube and WebMD, all of that was in my head, just crammed and combating each other. And I would have, right now, I'm about 100 days sober from weed, right? So I have, again, in my life, chosen to not use it because I fear that it is affecting me in this emotional way where I'm just not getting along in life. But I can't, at this point, attribute that issue to my relationship with weed. What I am understanding is that this is something that I have a problem with. I have a problem with forming my own opinion and then holding to it and living out what I believe is what I want to do. What I will very quickly, I've asked my grandmother, right, but I will very quickly change and pivot because of whatever's happening in that moment and whomever I've spoke to, if they're important to me enough. I've spoken with my grandmother, not necessarily about weed, but a little bit, but I'm like, what do I do in life? I don't even know. I'm lost. I'm stressed, I'm depressed, I don't know what I should do. What do I do? And my own grandmother's like, you are smart enough to make decisions. You just have to have the confidence to follow what you believe you need to do, period. She was like, I can give you an answer, I can tell you what you should do, but ultimately, you have to have the confidence in what you believe you want to do, and then you have to do it, and that is it. And she's like, I can tell you have a hard time making decisions and sticking to stuff, but this is something that you simply have to do, period. And, just because we had that conversation doesn't mean that that problem didn't persist even for 2 years since we had that conversation. It still persists. I'm still looking to get answers from other people who are not me. And it sucks because I could have all the support in the world from everyone around me, and unfortunately, it's kind of like a double-edged sword because the support bolsters me up, puffs me up, and I'm like, all right, well, I guess I'm doing the right thing because I'm getting all the support. And also, if I were to get, negative, reasons and don't do this because blah, 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 now I'm thinking oh, snap, I'm wasting my life. I've wasted all this time involving myself with this. All of the support was lies because what they're saying, it must be the truth. Oh my God. So, and then I have my own doubt of what's going on, my own thought process that's separate from outside influences. So, that whole concept exists not only with making weed videos and using weed by myself offline, but with jobs that I've been interested in doing, with surfing, with making a shirt business, with attempting to join the military, which again, if you're interested in that story, definitely check out the previous two videos that I've uploaded that talk about my military experience. But yeah, because in that video I talk about how my decision to attempt to join the military was highly effective. Sorry, I ran out of space. I think I was just talking about the pressure and frustration that I've been feeling lately. But ultimately, guys, I'm just really trying to make better moves for myself, really with considering myself. and what I actually want out of life. So I'm feeling so much better knowing that there's still opportunity for me to enjoy my life without necessarily enlisting in the military. And the ideas that I had when I was really trying to be independent and pursue, a life that really connected with my own personal wants and needs, I really want to reconnect with that. And that's what I'm going to be doing from now, and then tomorrow, and the day after that, and the day after that, and for many days after that. Because I have the fuel to do what I need to do, but I need to know, because look, I can do anything I put myself to. I really can. But it's just about, do I want to do it? Or have I been influenced to do it? And that's really what it is. So, I thank you guys so much for watching this long video. There will be more vlogs to come. I can already tell we are getting back in the groove, and I feel really good. So thank you guys so much for watching. Keep your eyes peeled for more lazy vlog content. And of course, maybe I'll do a proper vlog every now and again. We'll pepper it in, into the gumbo of my channel. But even if you don't subscribe, I know that YouTube is going to hit you with that algorithmic homepage drop, and you'll see my face. We love it. But yeah, I feel really optimistic about this channel. I feel really optimistic about my life. I feel really optimistic about, Peace Coast Apparel, like everything. I feel like this is the decision I really need to be making right now. So thank you guys so much for watching, and until next time,